Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike the intern, Ned Reynolds in the studio. It's Tuesday, and this Missouri State Bears team keeps, every time they come up against an hombre that we think is a tough team, they show what they can do. And I think when they go down to Fayetteville today, they're going to show what they can do.
Well, I hope they do, because it's a non-conference game. That's nothing to do with the standings in terms of the conference, but it's a marquee team that the Bears are playing, and Missouri State is not a marquee name. Arkansas is. They are number 17 in the country in the coaches poll, although the Bears, my goodness, they have a better record than Arkansas does, and the Bears have a better RPI. That's the ratings percentage index. The Bears are 16, Arkansas is 32. Well, wait a minute. Why is this such a big game? Because a win over Arkansas would make it 2 this year, and that's significant as far as the postseason committees who choose the at-large teams are concerned. So it is a big game. The Bears are probably underdog. They did beat Arkansas up here a couple of weeks ago, 15-14 on a walk-off home run in extra innings. That was a lot of fun, but the fact of the matter remains, Arkansas will be very tough. They're also very, very angry. They are coming off one game. Actually, they lost a series to Georgia in Fayetteville this past weekend. And one of the games was 26-14. Georgia beat Arkansas 26-14. That doesn't happen. Not to the Razorbacks. They're very angry. They want to show folks they can play, and beating Missouri State would be a big plus for them, although it's not a marquee name.
Again, it's going to be a lot more difficult now that we're in their hometown, but I think the Bears are going to bring it, and hopefully can come back tomorrow and tell me they got a dub. Boston Marathon, always around this time of the year, and it looked like there was another African winner, man, and it's because those guys trained with no shoes on.
Well, not another. These are the same ones who won last year. Same, the guy and the gal, both from an African nation, and you have to wonder, how in the world are they doing this? Why are they so superior at running? John Career is the guy who won it in a record time of 2 hours, 1 minute, 52 seconds. That's just utterly astonishing. 2 hours, 1 minute to run the 26 miles, 385 yards. My goodness sake. The young lady, Sharon Lokiti, who is also from Kenya, 2 hours and 18 minutes. Now, why are the African athletes so good? I think there are probably a couple of reasons. And they don't have, in the African countries, I'm not saying they're bereft of anything, but they really don't have the same domestic luxuries that we have in this country. Okay, running is a way of life for them over there. There are I can't say no, but there are very few pro sports teams. Here, the American athletes are going for football or baseball or hockey or basketball, whatever the case might be. In Africa, there's soccer, and that's pretty much it. They do have a baseball program over there, but it's very fledgling. And as a result, running is a way of life for them. And as a result, they get really, really good runners. Both runners from Kenya, both were the defending champions, and they successfully defended it in the world's premier marathon event, and it always is, Boston Marathon.
I always get tickled when they bring up the other stories about, like, the guy who basically cheated, got on a subway, cut the line.
That was Gal.
Yeah. It always makes me laugh.
He got on the subway and finished. Hey, where did she come from? Boy, she's a great runner.
Man, that's the fastest chick I've ever seen in my life. As we go through the NBA playoffs, they're also giving away, of course, kind of like in the NFL, the accolades through the season. You surprised Defensive Player of the Year?
Not hardly. He is really good. It's Victor Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs, and he weighs 7'4". And you think, well, he's probably a big lumbering kid. No, quite the opposite. He's 7'4". He's lean. He's very, very quick, and he was a unanimous choice for the Defensive Player of the Year. He is also the youngest player ever to win that prize in the NBA at age 22. He had an average of 3 blocks and 11 rebounds a game. That's an average per game. 3 blocks a game. Well, he's so quick and just alters the shots. That's why I pencil in the San Antonio Spurs as being a real dark horse to win the NBA championship. They play again tonight, incidentally. But Mbanyama is really he's just a terrific player. And what's disturbing about it to me is that he's making it in the NBA. He's a big star over here. The fans love him until the Olympics. And he has vowed to lead his nation, which is France, over the USA in the Olympic competition, which is in Los Angeles this year. And he could do it. He is that good. He'll be playing against guys who he plays against all year long when the Olympics does come up. But he says, we're going to win that thing. We'll take the gold away from the USA.
He's a hell of a player, but again, basketball should be a team sport. Cardinals, again, as we talked about yesterday, have been pretty hot. Did that streak continue yesterday?
No, it did not. The Miami Marlins cooled them off with a 5-3 decision yesterday or last night at Lone Depot Park before. And I don't mean this to be sardonic in any way, but before a rollicking crowd of 8,000, that's all they drew down in Miami. That's all they are drawing. I don't understand that franchise and how they keep going, but they do. Anyway, the Marlins win. Marlins are not a bad team. Liam Hicks had a couple of hits and a couple of RBIs. The pitcher, Max Meyer, had 8 strikeouts through 6 innings of the Cardinals. He had him going. Did not strike out, however, Jordan Walker, who did continue with his hitting streak. Mike McGreevy had the start for the Cardinals, and he gave up 4 runs and 5 hits. But the Marlins win the game 5-3, and they play again tonight at Lone Depot Park in Miami, and hopefully they'll have more than 8,000 there.
So we've got Cardinals having a hell of a run so far, and the Royals, it's no life. I just don't understand what the hell's going on in Kansas City.
This is a very strange circumstance, the way they are playing and how things are going against them. It was 1-0 Royals through the 8th inning, and Seth Lugo had pitched a 1-hitter up until then, but the Royals weren't getting any hits. They had 1 run and 10 hits. And the Orioles, well, they were no hit through 7 innings. Anyway, Baltimore came back to tie the game in the 9th, send it into extra innings. Both teams scored in the 11th inning 1-1. But in the 12th inning, the Baltimore Orioles erupted for 5 runs, and a grand slam by Leota Taveras was the big shot in that one. Royals did come back. The Royals had 3 runs in their half of the 12th inning, but that wasn't enough. And the Baltimore Orioles win it by a score of 7-5. The Royals are just star-crossed. They can't get anything going for them. Case in point, here Baltimore wins the game last night, 7-5, 7 runs on 6 hits. That's all Baltimore had. Kansas City had 14 hits and don't win the game. Boy, that is really, really strange and hard to swallow. Baltimore gets the win. They'll try again tonight up in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's extremely frustrating. Runner stranded is probably Kansas City's record right now by a long shot. They've done it too. It's infuriating, but let's just keep telling ourselves the season is early. The season is early. There's still a lot of time left. Not a lot of time in the NBA, though. Playoffs continue. Everyone looking like they're winning like they should.
The interesting one is the Cleveland Cavaliers, and yes, they have a 2-0 lead over the Toronto Raptors. They beat Toronto last night, so Cleveland's up 2-0. New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Hawks won in Madison Square Garden last night, 107-106. That series is tied at a game apiece. People are penciling in the Knicks as a possible final championship contender when it gets to late May and early June, but we have Atlanta beat them like that. And the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves playing in Denver, and Minnesota wins this one to tie the series at 1-1. More games coming up tonight. First round of the NBA playoffs, and there are many, many games and a long, long way to go.
And Ned, you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.